Lost in the pages of Flaubert, I want to stay in this nowhere. Pages of phrases annoying his novel, gaze through his ancient and Freudian monocle, this idler, his cider bubbling in the bottle, exotic, psychotic, AWOL from the hospital, following truth as the Fruit Loop toucan, caught in a loop as the music of Sufjan and Schumann. Their circle games, these Europeans, their murderous rage for order, love, and testy apartheid, standing on guard for death from far and wide to fare as the soul fares in atheism, escaping into Flaubert's realism, melting as senile minds into poetry. Welcome to freestyle design and upholstery, Anna Kaluthon, unsavory in the free verse, quarks and gluons, crazy as the knee-jerk rejection embedded in the text. See me work my medicine and Edison, Tesla, sea creature, Catachrasis and Anna Kaluthon, my weapons. But the ocean swallowed the proof of my invention. Lost in the pages of Flaubert, this hip-hop tape in the cold air, so rare. I want to stay in this nowhere, no fair. I lost my way reading Flaubert, Frohair, growing from the soul bear, aphrological, this poetic Baudelaire, going there, the lecteur hypocrite, complicating his Hegel through Hippolyte and Kojève, this frisbee thrown ahead of golden death as Disney's frozen head, these unchanging thoughts arranged in a knot, this ugly gray fog that plays over the bog, dreaming as the dragon rules everything around me, the Mounties, riding through the town, these cowardly minds who drown in the sea of poetry scorpioid, these curvy points stonery, these early joints at 4:20 a.m. Lost in the pages of Flaubert, this hip-hop tape in the cold air, so rare. I want to stay in this nowhere, no fair. I lost my way reading Flaubert.
We are, humanity is, an unhappy people in a happy world. That is to say, we live in a world in which...
In the shade of your leaves I mused oft, this crazy tree so confused and lost, made to believe you're the new Kant, chased by police over rooftops, this old name lost in sleep, coke-splaining his cocaine odyssey, this CD the beautifulest, as deep sea oozes this music, these U of T students imprudent, as the green leaves humorless.
We are, humanity is, an unhappy people.
Launching his mind beyond the very zenith, lofty his idea shone there in secret, random and formless as apples and oranges, the black hole's origin and the babble of the source of his unalloyed chutzpah, the unemployed butcher, for good burger, turning from the book burner, savage misconduct and looking for cannabis products, using the grass for glaucoma, these rooting for radical poetry, the cure for a shallow soul in these shallow times. These candles arise, these irony-fraught flagons of beer made shiny blobs of the chandeliers as the blind bard performs a prayer in Old English accentual meter, the cold penguins of never and neither, showing the depth of the clever speaker, his opus read and bereft of evil, honorable as graffiti, the fall of old leaves through me, my poetry conical as the teepee, vortical, comical as Nietzsche, and floral, stop to sniff these Genetia, wishful as the genie, sharp as the shears of love, incisive, her purple deconstruction of cognition, dreamed words from sleep's cousin, muttering to his vernal green, these eternal meanings, these external unseen things. Yeah. Shout out to things in themselves. Reach out outside the blindfold, speak out and shout the mind's rhyme flow, flickering amid the clouds as a kite, amid things roundly enshrouding its delight, despite the cloudy critic, proudly specific, counting the dactyls, this careless precision.
Winter's nick is the solstice, the coming of Capricorn, the constellation, and the auroras are like a blaze of straw in the midst of all that. Not a very grand image.
Yeah. Yeah. Notwithstanding Lacan's mathemes, this flock of passerine gods blasphemes, ignorant of Hegel, quick over the meadow, liquid metal, subliminal mental, my doves neglect the current fashion, in love with sex till the terminus adquem, holy night, the dark hostess, smoke from my pipe, this narcosis, billowing as the schooner sails, middle fingers to the haters, magnifying Satan's fingerprint, sanctified his strange predicament, poetry madam, the supreme fiction, knowing even Adam, their green division, falling from grace, this rock in space, evolving a taste for implausible tapes, a hip-hop so dreamlike it begs the question, is it for the children like YA fiction? Is it for the psychonauts while they're tripping, or the psychopomps in divine intervention, whether wild or elegant, or rhyme envenomed, whether plying direct or defying intelligence, confusing O-phase and others alike, with truths opaque as the blood of Christ. Yeah. 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 In the blue sky, that man tuning his harp among the cumuli was Andrew Mbaruk, a human mind attracted to the dark where the truth lies, stabbed through the heart, this postmodern blade's terrible glow, as photons waves are the marriage of both, as yoked oxen dragging a carriage of hope through the cold autumn days, hilarious joke. These rhymes convey the corpse through Chinatown, rhymes profound as the horseshoe shining loud. Luckily, I'm a seasoned poet, puffing weed, wine and beer in the cold of his fridge. This flying trapeze or golden bridge, lyrical ballads as Wordsworth and Coleridge. This flow of tears from his eyes as the ocean mirrors the sky, so the moment mirrors time, connoting infinity. Yeah, as outside of time, God holds the key, locking us inside this odd poetry. Shout out to God, the infinite, and his God, infinite, and his God, the infinite, and his God, the infinite. Gramercy, the world imperfectly before me in the rock opera in Portuguese with the sockdologer. Or stopping the show in Glasgow. Controversial, unnatural, swantological words as Picasso. He's not perfect, you'll be glad to know. Tearing the charts of the astrologist, that bureaucratic Pontius, his megalosaurian silhouette. Navel orange and mildew red. Spewing his bricolage, the hornswoggler in queue for the triage, his forward posture, this human sea monster born with no father. As God the infinite, and his God the infinite, and his God the infinite, and his God infinite, and his God the infinite, and his God infinite, as his God the infinite, and God's God infinite, and that God's God also infinite, as his God the infinite, and his God infinite, and his God the infinite, till the fog lifted as the phallus, with a little asterisk, nota bene. These grog shop hieroglyphs provoking many to swallow Popeye spinach. So ready, the strongest mind in the West, ready to rap as the blue whale, ready to rap his obtuse angle, ready to rap these confusing rainbows, ready to rap for the few makers who dig it, those recalcitrant greasers spitting legit through the loudspeakers, these sound reasoners, his underhanded punchlines, under the facts undefined, plucking rap from the vine, this bubble bath in summertime. Driving his Lexus, flying as Pegasus the feminist, in rhyming text messages, so inviting the deathly sepulchre, amid the lightning this heavy metal bird, through an ivory gate the universal master lying in state, so his iPad breaks. Bleeding text messages are triadic fates, and threes as the heads of this Cerberus, gnawing the perfect, murmurous, these flaws in his verbiage, this bug in the beak of a blue finch, this Sarah the Hebrew prince, S, standing for salamanders, sex, savage as the sax standard, in a sentimental mood these giant steps, in his mind as he rests, drunk on the blood of his enemies. This Huffy Henry sleepwalking or running on empty autopilot poetry. This death and decay and entropy, his rejection of male supremacy, respecting the cave or cavity, the crest of a wave that's rapidly arising from Shakespeare's deconstruction. Shakespeare's deconstruction, the Medusa's laughter, the grief of the husband. Driving his Lexus, flying as Pegasus the feminist, in rhyming text messages, withstanding the blues in red revision, gathering truth in repetition, becoming, something under the sun deconstructing, none other than cunning, the lover of nothing, that lunar deceptor holding the scepter, as Vancouver letters devoted to pleasure, golden his soul and crystal his path, as posing in the chromolithograph, melodious, euphoniously sonorous, copious as poetry, the holiest of opiates, the solo of the vocalist, this ornate, cool man, the shape of rap to be, this Orphean blues as the taste of candy. Past the peas, I'm rapping on the beat, as the MC on Vancouver streets, driving his Lexus, flying as Pegasus the feminist, in rhyming text messages, driving his Lexus, flying as Pegasus the feminist, in rhyming text messages. Yeah, fucking yes. Crying a threnody, slicing his enemies, primal levity in the mind, running these boots empty, running for centuries, vile synecdoches signifying nothing, surviving these gownsmen agnostic, alive in a 3000 pantascopic, afrological afrofuturism, black hospitals, black humorism, neologistic, his phrases purple, near perfect, his cadence vertical, ascending in a Byzantine sentence, defending his nicotine dependence and self-harm, the poem as a grindstone, going hard, his poetic style of poem, the tricorn hat Napoleonic, mimetic as the Homer logic, crying a threnody, slicing his enemies, primal levity in the mind, running these boots empty, running for centuries, vile synecdoches signifying nothing, be proud of your simian ancestry. The sea turbid in Hindustani, human in the window, the malady. These hymnists and mystics delicious, amid the mist of business, the mystery. A ship ridiculous amid the sea, tripping as wolves in the moonlight, simple as the wool in his toque white. A winter as full as the moon at night. The freedom to fool is a human right, to fool around rolling in ecstasy. These canine souls, their high melody. Oh, their august message to these human gods, electrically styling speech in careful waves, a style as free and fair as fate. To see the UFO dance across the sky, to be or not to philosophize. The Socrates grotesque in his desire to know reality in its purity rare, crying a threnody, slicing his enemies, primal levity in the mind running, these boots empty, running for centuries, vile synecdoche signifying nothing, dialectically, 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 dialectically. The difficulty of meta, said Sydney to Stella, lives in these letters and gives me pleasure. His critique of imagination in 16 numbered stanzas, tasting deliciously fun and black as the pavement, auto-affection and masturbation as the phonocentrist in his composition, holds the red brick and drops it into him, the cavernous. Professor Sapid, this university of meta-rap he spits, projecting onto reality these images, the settlers' stolen lands, suspicious bliss. The brain is an imagist and syllogist, skilled as the clips. Mr. Me Too. You know, I also placed the jar in Tennessee. I also placed the jar in Tennessee. I also placed the jar in Tennessee. I also placed a jar in Tennessee. The closer we gather round the phonotext, the holier this chatter sounds, the Pope confessed. Perfect as the fall of dead leaves, a service as the pallbearers lead the personage into his long rest he needs. And as we bury the patriarch, we so urgently, wordily make art as the Carpenters or Star Wars, displaying his heart for the heartless photographers.